So in my recent video, I said I have evidence regarding the fact that we're being sprayed when you can't even see it. Like right now, we're actually being sprayed right now and it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to talk about 4 different types of geoengineering. It's not all of them, but this is 4 major ones. Okay. Number 1 is stratospheric aerosol injections. That's where the big planes actually spray chemicals like aluminum, sulfuric acid, barium, all these other types of things. They literally spray intentionally out of the plane, out of nozzles to block out the sun. That is called solar radiation modification. Okay, that's one. The second one is cloud seeding. And that's where smaller planes usually fly to lower altitude and they go through a cloud and they spray silver iodide to make the cloud produce rain. The third one is electromagnetic radiation, and that's a whole nother topic, but it is geoengineering. So now I'm going to talk to you about number 4, and that's what we're not seeing in the sky right now. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. This 4th one is commercial planes that are spraying us every day, all day long, nonstop. And actually, it's not just commercial planes, it's all planes. So let me say again that sometimes you see these guys and sometimes you don't. Now let's discover why that is. So in my hundreds of hours of research, I want to know why we see clear skies for 2 or 3 days, and then we see almost like every single plane is spraying at a certain altitude. So we always have these pesky pilots and meteorologists talk about the right conditions. So they make these claims that under the right conditions, a contrail will persist and do what we're seeing in the sky. And of course, they'll say these are just normal. It's normal contrails. Well, there's nothing normal about it. I'm going to get to that point in a minute. But I did find what the right conditions are, okay? And it did matter. Are you still with me? We're going to get a little bit technical now, okay? First of all, what are the right conditions, okay? We're looking at about 30,000 feet. That's about cruising altitude for most of these planes that are spraying. Now, that's just on average. Some of them are higher, some of them are lower. But the altitude does matter. Number 2, the relative humidity must be at around 60% or higher. That's how humid it is up in the stratosphere. It doesn't matter the humidity down here. The other thing that really matters is the temperature at that height, not the temperature at the ground level, but the temperature at 30,000 feet. If it's minus 45 degrees Celsius or cooler, that's also the right condition. And the last one is dew point. It has to be at a certain temperature in order to make condensation possible. So did you notice I said condensation? Yeah, I did. And it actually matters. So again, going back to those meteorologists and the pilots, they'll say that, well, it's going through ice cold air and this very hot engine, it condensates and turns into vapor that persists all day long. Well, that's actually partially true, but you're missing the most important part and they're not telling you. So yes, the very cold air goes through these very hot engines and it condensates into an ice crystal. But in order for it to become an ice crystal, it has to condensate onto something. And here's the rub. They say, well, it's just, soot from the engine. Well, let me tell you something. Soot came out of the engines, and when I was younger, I never saw these types of trails ever. So let me break it down. When we see these chemical trails, we're seeing the actual process of condensation, but it's going on to a particulate. And what's happening now that didn't happen in the past is the fuels are laced with aluminum and these other nanoparticulates of metals. And they're coming right out of the planes, and it's happening every day, all day long. And that's where that's why we're seeing commercial planes spraying. That's why you see a Delta. If you're tracking these guys, you see that it's a Delta plane, or it's a United, or it's Southwest Airlines, or it's DHL. And these fuels are laced with aluminum and other nanoparticulates of metals. Listen, guys, I've done hundreds of hours of research on this. I'm tracking every plane, military planes, commercial plane, you name it. And this is what's happening only when the conditions are right, okay, will you actually see them. And this is why I said that I can predict when you will see them and when you won't. Test me on this. I'm telling you, if it's a certain day, I can pull up the conditions no matter where you're at. Just give me your coordinates and I'll tell you whether you're seeing them or not. And it'll be 100% accurate. For example, today, gorgeous day. The same planes are flying over, but no trails are visible. So only because there's the 9% relative humidity, not the right conditions. Now, if you look down in Florida, they're seeing some trails today because they have the right conditions. And again, that's why sometimes you see them and sometimes you don't. But the point is, even if you're not seeing them, they're still spraying this aluminum out of the engine. And that's what we have to stop. And so it's really important that we understand that this is also an issue. We don't just go after planes that are actually spraying. Those are far and few in between, I promise you. But in the future, there's going to be a whole lot more of that. We have to stop those guys. But we also have to stop the fuels. And this is why in Florida and Tennessee that have bills that command people to stop spraying out of nozzles, you don't see a difference. You're not going to see a change. You're only going to see a change if you address this issue. It has to be addressed or else we're not going to see a change. Our stratosphere is completely covered in these nanoparticles of aluminum and barium, strontium, because this has been going on for so long, for probably close to 30 years. So the bottom line, okay, is that I just want truth. You know, this has changed my perspective a bit. It doesn't change my resolve. We still have to have laws to stop all of this, all of it. And but I want the truth. I want to know exactly what's going on and when. And this is 100% the truth. So we will continue this fight. Now that we understand and know better what exactly is going on, we're going to have a lot better chance of stopping this in the future.